Welcome to Home Biz Tax Talk. My name is Lysandra Everett. I am the Home Biz Tax Lady, where I help home business owners win the tax game. Home Biz Tax Talk airs Monday through Friday, 9 o'clock-ish. And when you tune into my show, you're going to hear about topics that are important to the home business community. So today I want to do a little business training and talk about like the basic business services that you need to sustain your business. So one of the things that's happened over the last week or so is that I've gotten calls for people that need multiple years of taxes filed, or they might need a year or two worth of bookkeeping done. Okay. And so then, when you quote the prices for these things, like people want to have heart attacks, like, yo, you can't. That's why I shared a post, and to let you know, you can't ask for a year's worth of services for a month's worth of pay and then think it's going to be done in 2 weeks' time for you to file your taxes on time. It just doesn't work like that. So I really want to talk about, the basic services that you need to have in a business, and then, how you can grow into these things. Okay. So the basic things that you need, like if I'm thinking bare bones on the finance part, you need a bookkeeper, you need a tax person, and you need an attorney. Okay. So, but let's talk about the bookkeeping part, because the main thing is people's like, well, what can I do to reduce my tax liability? Well, unless your bookkeeping is straight, unless you know where your money is coming from, where your money is going to, if you don't know your cash flow, those type of things that's information that bookkeeping and, professional bookkeeping can provide. Okay. So, you might be thinking, I can't afford a professional bookkeeper on a regular basis. Well, let me help you understand how you can grow into these things. So when you're getting started in business, yeah, we're bootstrapping. I understand what it's like to be broke and starting a business. Trust me on this, okay? Now, so with bookkeeping, you can hire someone to set up your bookkeeping and show you what to do, okay? Because in the beginning, you might not have a whole lot of transactions going on. You might not have a lot of money coming in. So hiring someone to set up your bookkeeping and showing you what to do so that you can maintain your own books is a way to start. And then you can meet with that bookkeeper on a quarterly basis, just to ask, hey, do I have all of this categorized right? Should I do something different here? And so you're not paying for that ongoing service, but you have someone that can get you started on the right foot. And then you can meet with them, like I said, on a quarterly basis, a couple times a year, to make sure that you have everything where it needs to go. Okay. And I'm telling you what I did. Okay. This is stuff that I did. This is not, I didn't, wake up and then just boom, I've got all these people that I'm paying. No, this is how you grow into it. So then you have that bookkeeper that gets you started, right? That gets you set up, teaches you what to do. And then when you start to grow in your business and you have more income, then you can outsource that task completely so that you can still focus on growing your business financially. And so then once you get to where you can outsource a bookkeeper, your next step is a CPA. You're like, why a CPA? Because bookkeepers and CPAs provide completely different services. So, bookkeeping is the bean counting, this is what money you spent, this is where it's going, this is where your money came from, that kind of thing. An accountant really provides the analysis part. They're looking at your overall financial performance to say, hey, you know what? You can probably do this a little differently or do that a little differently, right? That's what accountants do. A tax pro is going to look at your stuff and say, okay, these are the things that can help you tax wise. Two completely different services. Now, are there CPAs that file taxes? Yes, there are CPAs that don't file taxes. There are tax people who are accountants also. So a lot of times you can go to one place and get one-stop shopping. But let me also caution you, while most people are very good business people and do great work, trust but verify. Okay. This is how embezzlement and all that stuff happens when you're really not watching your money and not checking in on what the people you hired to do stuff. If you're not checking in, you don't know what they're doing. And that's not the place to be. You need to have an idea of what's going on in your business. Even if you might not know all the details, you need to know if money is where it's supposed to be and if it's not. Okay. So, so that's number one is bookkeeping. You started a bookkeeper and you grow into an accountant. There are, accounting firms that just offer bookkeeping services. You can find this stuff, you guys. It's not like this doesn't exist. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, talking about the tax professional. So the tax professional is looking at, how your tax life is going. They're looking at how much you're paying in self-employment tax. They're looking at, okay, you got a kid getting ready to go to college, how that's going to impact you tax wise. And that's why you sit down with tax professionals to look at, when you're talking about business structure and all of that. They're looking at your entire tax picture. It's not just you and your business. Do you have a spouse that's earning six figures? Like I said, do you have a kid that's getting ready to go to college? What is that whole entire tax picture look like before you go jumping off into the business entity abyss and you have no idea what's going on and what's required of you? So that's what tax people do. We help you look at ways to reduce your overall tax liability. But if you never know how much money you're making or how much money you're spending, taxes is not even, we can't tell you what to do. We just can't. Okay, because we have to know, and also understand that a tax person that actually looks at your bookkeeping, looks at the details of your bookkeeping. That's not our job. It's really, as a tax professional, it is not my job to look at your bookkeeping, but because I care enough to look and see what's going on, that's what I do. And we do that because if you're doing something funky on the bookkeeping end, you got to know this stuff. Like you're trying to deduct stuff that really is not a legitimate business expense. Just to give you an example, I had this client, you guys, that was trying to write off boarding her dog as a business expense. Like, no, ma'am, not with my name on it. That's not happening. So, so this is why we look at those things to make sure that you're doing everything that you're supposed to do legally and ethically so that you can legitimately save on your taxes. That is what we do. And then the third person is an attorney. You're like, why do I need an attorney? Because you need someone to look at your engagement letters, to look at your contracts and all of that to make sure that you are legally safe. So that if somebody tries to not pay you or somebody tries to sue you, that your paperwork, your contracts and everything are in place and they're, the way that they're written, legal language, all that stuff. You need to have an attorney. Now, I'm not saying you're going to have an attorney on retainer. Okay, but you might have someone that you can consult with that, that you can pay to review your contracts and all of that stuff so that the business end is sound. And it's not just your contracts, is, if you're going into a partnership with somebody or you've got an S Corp or a C Corp and you've got all of these, investors and whatnot, you need to have an attorney that's reviewing all these drafting documents to make sure that that you protect yourself. That's what that's attorney that's working for you. That's what they do. They work to make sure that you're protected, and the attorney that's working against you is trying to poke holes in your Swiss cheese so they can represent their client. But you need to have that legal representation. You need to have somebody you can call. So it's not like, like I said, you're having someone on retainer, but when you're getting into business, you need to start looking for these people so you know who to call before you need to call them. Because I keep telling you, what it costs to cure something is way more expensive than the prevention. So the consult that you pay for a tax professional, the consult that you pay for a bookkeeper, the consult that you pay for an attorney is going to be hecka cheaper than if they have to fix stuff and get you out of trouble. So please stop being cheap. Okay, if you can go spend $1,000 on a cell phone, you can go spend $400 to consult with somebody that's going to help keep your business safe and sound and on a solid foundation. You can do that. And when you're getting in business, like I said, I get that we're bootstrapping. I understand, but there are some things that are non-negotiable. And if you can't do it, perhaps you should wait to go in business. Now, I know somebody's going to be like, oh, that's just me. No, that's just what it is. Because what you don't know can cost you so much more than if you paid to find out the knowledge to begin with. Just to give you an example, I spoke with someone yesterday, another tax professional that has a new client. Their stuff is so jacked up because they have stuff that's supposed to be going into their business. It's going into their personal account and they're paying for these things. And, no, that's just a hot, ridiculous mess. And then to go back and fix that stuff, yeah, it costs. So, it really is during tax time that you start getting these stories because people start thinking about taxes. But let me explain something to you. When it comes down to finances and taxes, this is not something you think about at tax time. Tax time is too late. It's what you do during the year that's going to help you at tax time. Come tax time, what's done is done. And there is no magic wand that we can wave to go back and fix it. That's not how this works. All the magic is done during the year. And if you consult with the people whose job it is to know this stuff, okay? And when I say consult with professionals, I am not talking about Ray Ray on the corner that just hung up their shingle and said, we do taxes. I'm not talking about somebody that said, oh, I went to law school. I might not be a member of the bar. So no, we're not talking about them kind of attorneys that are Google and YouTube educated. Okay. And so I really want you to get this because this is important. When we're talking about using business to grow wealth, you cannot grow a good business on shaky foundation. You can't grow a good business if your bookkeeping is the foundation of it all. Like seriously. But you can't grow a good business, a good solid business, if you have no idea about the money. If you have no protections in place. You just can't. So I really hope this gives you something to chew on, to go back and look at what you have in place. If you don't have a bookkeeper you can call, you know what? There's a post on my Facebook while I did maybe last week that lists some bookkeepers. If you don't have a tax professional, and a tax professional is not going to a tax franchise, and 15 different people have done your taxes over the past 3 years. They're not looking at anything except what's in front of them. A tax professional that you build a relationship with is going to look at your overall picture. They're going to look and analyze and say, hey, this is what's going on with your taxes. Okay. So no, we're not talking about no, y'all know what I'm talking about. Okay. When you go to the grocery store and get your taxes done, that's not your tax professional. All right. And then having that attorney, the attorney that's going to look over your documentation. Now, your insurance, when you have business insurance, a lot of times they have those ancillary services that you have somebody you can call. Use them. Call people and talk to them. Like when I got schooled on freaking cybersecurity, it came with a 30-minute consult with an attorney. You better believe I was on the phone with the attorney and I'm asking all kinds of questions. I'm like, look, I need to know what I need to know to be safe. And he hit me to some stuff that I did not know. I was like, okay, cool. This was worth every penny. Right? So I challenge you to look at what you have in your business. And if you don't have those things in place, I challenge you to get it done. Go find these people. Do not find yourself on defense come tax time next year. That's not the place to be. You need to be running offense all year long. Okay? So thank you guys so much for tuning into Home Biz Tax Talk. Again, we air Monday through Friday, 9 o'clock-ish. And you can come in here to get your questions answered about your home business taxes. All right. Have a great day, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye.